Everything you need to know about Need for Speed 2022. We will be getting a new Need for Speed game this year, but what's known about EA's upcoming racer so far? The Need for Speed game has been around for almost 30 years by this point. Need for Speed has taken on multiple guises and genres over the decades, and spanned many console generations. The most recent title, Heat, harked back to the game's peak years in the early and mid 2000s. While Heat didn't hit the same heights as the games like Most Wanted, it was a step in the right direction, so despite delays to its release, there's a lot to be hopeful about when it comes to the next Need for Speed. So for the latest news, there's going to be photorealistic graphics mixed with anime elements. If the latest rumours are to believe, Need for Speed will adapt a new art style. According to Venture Beats Jeff Grubb, Criterion's new Need for Speed will feature photorealistic graphics mixed with anime elements. It's going to be photorealistic, but it's going to have on top of that anime elements, Grubb said. You know when you see a car commercial or something like that and the car's driving around, but then cartoon flames and stuff are flying off? That's the kind of aesthetic they seem to be going for. Location: fictionalized Chicago setting rumored. While the Need for Speed 2022 location hasn't been officially announced, Venture Beats Jeff Grubb claims that the new Need for Speed is set in a new location called Lake Shore City. In contrast to Need for Speed's inspired Palm City, Lake Shore City will reportedly be in a fictionalized version of Chicago. According to Venture Beats Jeff Grubb, Criterion's new Need for Speed game will be current gen only. There's still a rumor for now, but if that's true, it means that Need for Speed 2022 will skip PS4 and Xbox One. Instead, it will be released on PlayStation 5 and Xbox One consoles as well as PC. The EA Play Live 2022 cancelled. EA is foregoing its usual summer showcase, EA Play Live, where it normally unveils new games and creates buzz for its titles. Instead, EA will announce news as and when they are ready, leaving Need for Speed fans in limbo when it comes to information about the game. Criterion back on board. EA had tasked Ghost Games with the last 4 Need for Speed title console releases. Now though, they've been let go, as EA looks to the past to make a better future for Need for Speed. Criterion have developed several Need for Speed titles before, including the fantastic Need for Speed Hot Pursuit in 2010. Hot Pursuit is a game that stood the test of time and is still fun to play a decade later thanks to the remaster last year. Criterion also developed Most Wanted 2012, but it's the Burnout series where they really shined. But when are we likely to see it? The release date. There hasn't been any official communications when it comes to release date of the next Need for Speed. All we know is that the game is set to be released in 2022. But beyond that, it's anybody's guess. However, a look into the past will give us an idea for when Need for Speed 2022 will launch. If you go over the latest games in the series, you'll notice that all the recent ones were launched in November. November is a peak time for video game releases, and it's just before Christmas and in the heart of Black Friday sales. I don't expect that to change for Need for Speed 2022, especially since it gives Criterion almost a whole of a year to make the next Need for Speed. If this is the case, we expect the reveal trailer to drop sometime in June or August. Next gen consoles. Something that is a lot more clear about the game is the consoles it will launch on. Need for Speed 2022 will be the first time the series is released on the next gen consoles. That means that Need for Speed will be coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. But what about the other systems? Well, the game will get a PC launch, but the old gen systems are less clear. While major EA titles like FIFA 22 are being launched on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, it's not certain whether EA will continue this into 2022. It depends on the supply of PlayStation 5s and Series X's, which is meant to continue to be limited until 2023. According to Venture Beats Jeff Grubb, Need for Speed 2022 won't be released on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, but EA hasn't confirmed this. Single player and cars. Single player mode is huge for the old school Need for Speed gamers. When it comes to this though, we haven't had any hints about when the story mode will take place, nor what it will encompass. Hopefully though, single player mode will take a back seat to the driving and the customization. Customization was the best part of Heat, so we're hoping Criterion can change that. With this being an EA game as well, especially one on next gen, the graphics and audio will be top notch. As for cars, there will be no doubt a good selection and offer. You'll start with an old muscle car and low performance races before upgrading to sports cars and eventually the supercars and hypercars we all dream of racing. Multiplayer. Again, we don't have a lot to go on here, but we can make some assumptions. Heat implemented crossplay into the series, so we expect that to remain in place, but we're also hoping that races and cop and robbers remain in the Need for Speed Online. Something to keep in mind as well is that Criterion introduced the innovative auto-log system to Need for Speed over 10 years ago. This was a social network within a game that was also extremely impressive, especially if you consider that Twitter and Facebook were a shadow of their current forms. Venture Beats Jeff Grubb claims Autolog will return in the next Need for Speed, but EA hasn't confirmed this. Will Need for Speed 2022 be on mobile? It's hard to believe now, but 2022 will mark 3 years since the last Need for Speed game. Need for Speed Heat was released in 2019, but this year should mark a return for the arcade racing series. Will it be making a return to the mobile market though? Well, not a lot is known about Need for Speed 2022, but I'll bring you everything you need to know about Need for Speed on mobile right here. The last Need for Speed mobile game. It wasn't that long ago when we last saw a Need for Speed game on mobile devices. Need for Speed No Limits was released in 2015 as an Android and iOS exclusive. This is also a free-to-play game, long before they became very popular. If you look at the all-time Need for Speed rankings though, it would tell you that Need for Speed No Limits wasn't the best Need for Speed title. This was ironically in part down to the game being very limited in what you were allowed to do. However, if you paid enough, No Limits suddenly opened its doors to success to players. This went down like a lead balloon amongst fans. Has there ever been a Need for Speed game on mobile and home consoles? To many people's surprise, Need for Speed has been released on mobile devices as well as home consoles at the same time. It's been a while since this happened though, with Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 being the last. Need for Speed games have also been released on mobile consoles too, and 2012's Most Wanted was again in the last decade ago. So will Need for Speed 2022 be released on mobile devices? Well, it's unlikely given that this will be the first Need for Speed title on the next gen consoles. So scaling it down to be able to run off Android and Apple devices won't be at the top of Criterion's priority list. It's been 3 years since the new Need for Speed title. We all love Need for Speed. It's had ups and downs throughout the years, but with the release of Heat, you can really see that they were actually making an effort, but unfortunately EA kind of fucked them over. Need for Speed is one of our favourite arcade racing series. We always have fun with these games, but when will the next one launch? Well, news hasn't been easy to come by. So are EA actually working on this? Need for Speed 2022? Well, Need for Speed became a big biannual series, but it was delayed until 2022 last year. This was partly due to Criterion's work on Battlefield 2042, and also down to the pandemic. So with Battlefield 2042 out now, has production resumed on Need for Speed 2022? Well, we haven't heard a confirmation for this, nor have we heard any news on Need for Speed in around a year. It's safe to assume that Need for Speed is in production, but when will it launch is anybody's guess. As for when we will hear more, if we don't see a reveal trailer by August, it could be delayed until 2023. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in another Need for Speed video.